Good afternoon, Chris Whelan here from Chris Whelan Coaching. I want to talk to you today about something which is, I think, pretty fundamental to all of us, and that is that revenue is not the issue here. Revenue in our business is not the issue. Profit is the issue. Have you ever been in a situation where, now let me ask you a couple of questions, right? And then just we can go from there. Have you ever been in a situation where you've asked yourself, you've kind of second guessed your pricing? Have I got the pricing quite right? Am I doing this the right way? Are you too, am I too expensive? Am I giving away too much money? Am I too cheap, perhaps? Are you selling yourself short, I suppose is the question. That's the one set of questions. And the other one is, do you, excuse me, feel under constant pressure to discount? You're almost thinking, oh, I better just keep this customer. Let me just give him a bit of a discount or her a bit of a discount to win the job. So, those things on your mind quite a bit. Can you clearly and confidently say what makes your business totally different than everyone else's business? What is your unique proposition, if you like? And do you know your niche? Because for me, a definition of a niche is where you eliminate price competition. So not just your industry niche, but the exact type of customer you serve, where he or she resides, what their interests are. Can you clearly define your niche? And of course, the big one, if you ever actually looked at your numbers and realized that you're actually working harder than ever before, but the profit just isn't there. You're not getting the return on investment that you anticipated getting when you went into business in the first place. If any of that is home, then this video is for you, absolutely. And I also want to tell you, you're not alone because most business owners do wrestle from time to time, sometimes more than others, with pricing. But, you know, here's something that I think is the truth. You don't win in business by being the cheapest. You win in business by being the most valuable. Now, let me explain that in the next couple of minutes. There's a few things that happen. If you solve the pricing conundrum, if you realize that price is not the point, but profit is. Firstly, you escape the discount trap, right? You get rid of the discount trap, and secondly, get rid of the discount trap and protect your margin. Secondly, you'll attract a better fit of customer. You get loyal customers who value what you do. They're not just there to buy on price. And then the third thing is you finally build a business that pays you what you're actually worth. That's the positive. The negative, if you like, if you don't get it right, is that you stay stuck in price wars, and really the price war is a race to the bottom. That's the only way that I can think to articulate it. You can't win that war because you're going to hit the floor eventually. The other thing is that you devalue your brand because you tell people, look, we're actually not, we don't value ourselves enough. So we'll keep discounting. We'll keep trying to figure out how to get to attract price sensitive customers. And then the third thing is you'll end up working harder and harder and harder because that spiral goes down and down and down, right? Does that make sense? So there's positives to getting it right and quite significant negatives to getting it wrong. A little while ago, I worked with a trade business. This business was absolutely flat out busy. I mean, there's no question of it. The old adage of hard work, or I don't know if it's an adage, but hard work being a virtue. These people were living the hard work virtue. The challenge is they were always stressed about money. And I think the issue is that they felt that if they didn't work, they wouldn't get the money. Um, the supposed solution was more sales. Give me more sales, give me more sales, give me more sales. So he discounted and discounted and discounted to win jobs. So the volume of jobs has gone up, but the actual profit in the business hadn't gone up. If anything, it had gone down. And of course, then we had to hire more staff to deal with the extra workload. And it becomes whatever the opposite is of a virtuous circle, something that feeds on itself. You need more jobs, you discount more. You need more people to service the jobs you've got. You hire them, your profits going down and down and down. And of course, then you end up waking up at 3 in the morning trying to figure out how you're going to how he was going to pay the payroll. We did the maths, actually. It's interesting because now I'm happy to share this with you if you get hold of me. I can share the exact calculation. A 10% discount on a 40% margin, a 10% discount, 40% margin, meant that he had to sell 33% more just to make the same profit. Let me just repeat that. 10% discount on a 40% margin, had to sell 33% more just to make the same amount of profit, to take the same amount home at the end of every month. Basically, at that point, he's sprinting on a treadmill. It's just not going anywhere. Right? The treadmill's getting faster and faster and faster, and he's not getting anywhere. Once we redefined his niche, we built real value into the offering, not just price. And we did actually raise his prices by 10%. Now, he made the same money, but with fewer jobs. right? Quite the opposite. Fewer jobs, fewer headaches, fewer needs to manage a whole bunch of processes and people around it, and of course, a better quality of client as well. So I think there's seven areas that you want to look at in the space. And I'll run through them now, and you can write them down. If you want to chat about it, absolutely happy to, because this is important. It's an important aspect of every single business. Number one, and I've touched on it already, define and own your niche. Right? Trying to solve everyone's problems is not going to happen. If you go as wide as you can, you become invisible because you're no different than everyone else. Right? So serving a clear niche makes you pretty much magnetic to that particular niche, and that's what you want. And it's not just a group; it's a specific problem that you solve better than everyone else. Right? So that's the first thing: solve your niche. Sorry, define and own your niche. Number two, build and communicate value. Do not sit and argue about price. Argue about value. We, as human beings, were set on this earth to create value, to add new value. So figure out what that is. And value is about outcomes. It's not about features. Don't sell the vacuum cleaner and say it does. It sucks up at whatever pressure is of a vacuum. It gets your house spotless. That's an outcome, right? Use proof. Use stories. Use bold guarantees. Right. Make sure, of course, that they're real, and then transform your attention from shift attention away from price to value, right, and onto results. So that's the second part. Number three, create and make sure you maintain a powerful brand presence. People don't just buy what you do; they buy how it feels to deal with you, right? So if you know your customers, if you care about what they do, if you engaged in the local rugby club, or if you engaged in the local bridge club and you're sponsoring it, or you are going to whatever hospice, if that's your thing, uh, trust, consistency, responsiveness, genuine care for people, all of those things matter, right? So build and create a powerful brand presence. Number three. Number four, use smarter pricing strategies. Price is a message. It sends a message out to people, right? Either you're cheap, you're expensive, or you're priced right. Premium pricing, though, what does that say? It says we're worth it, right? We're not the cheapest. We're not trying to be the cheapest, but we are worth it because we deliver value to you. And whether it be bundling, whether it be subscriptions, whether it be what we call value stacking through increased perceived value, all of those things can be done without discounting, right? And so that is a far better response to working with your prices than trying to discount every time. Number five, and this is, you'll hear me say this in every single situation, measure what matters. You need to know your average dollar sale. You need to know your margins. You need to know the impact of that 10% discount, right? Remember that 10%, 40, at a 40% margin, 33% more sales. You need to know that. And similarly, you need to know the value of a 10% price rise. And again, I'm happy to share that with you. I've got tables and I can give those to you easily. Numbers do a few things, but amongst them, they give you clarity, and clarity gives you confidence. Right? Number six, build relationships, not just transactions. Anyone can do transactions. That's easy. But what you want to be doing is building relationships, because people don't interact with Chris Whelan coaching. They interact with Chris Whelan. They don't interact with your business. They interact with you, with your team. Right? So build those relationships. Invest the time. Besides, besides being obviously good for business, it's also good for you and it's good for them, right? So just do the right thing, build relationships. Loyalty comes from care, not from cost. Right? It would be the comment. And trust leads to loyalty, and of course, loyalty leads to lifetime value. Number seven, you do also want to create a sense of urgency through scarcity, but not through price, right? So don't go trying to create scarcity by discounting and say, if you don't buy from us now, for the next 20 minutes, we give you discounts. There's plenty of shops around that do that, or plenty of businesses around that do that. Yeah, so what? You know that next week they're going to do it again. So there's no actual urgency there. Right? I can give you, I suppose if I named the places here, they would be potentially considered libelous, but we all know who they are. Right? You know that you're never going to buy something at full price from them because they will have discounts very soon again. When you say we only take on 3 clients a month, or so let's stick with that. Only take on 3 clients a month. It's far more powerful than saying we're going to discount this price by 15%, right? Because 3 clients a month means if I'm not one of them, I'm not getting in. So use deadlines, use exclusivity, limited capacity, and limited capacity to drive action, right? So once you've done that, you don't have to kill your margins. Let's just wind back to where we started. When you stop chasing price and you start building value, what do? Well, You get better clients, we've said that. You don't lose your profit, so you make at least the same, almost certainly more profit. And you get your time, most importantly, you get your sanity, and you get your confidence back. If any of this resonates with you, right, and I'd be very keen to listen um, to where you are. Jump onto the link in the description below. Book some time with me, 15 minutes. We'll get some ideas. I understand your situation a little bit better. If there's a way we can help you, fantastic. And I'm pretty sure there would be. Otherwise, just drop me an email, chris@chriswheelandcoaching.com, and I'll reply. Tell me what it is that you're looking for, and let's make sure that we build a pricing strategy, but more than that, build a business that works for you so that you don't have to work every hour under the sun. Have a fantastic week. All the best. Chat soon. Bye bye.